reminisce for a spell, or shall I say think back 22 years ago to keep it on track. The birth of a child on the 8th of October, a toast, but my granddaddy came sober. Count all the fingers and the toes, now I suppose you hope the little black boy grows. 18 years younger than my mama, but I really got beaten cause the girl loved drama. In single parenthood, there I stood. By the time she was 21, had another one. This one's a girl, let's name her Pam. Same father as the first, but you don't give a damn. Irresponsible, plain not thinking. Papa said chill, but the brother keep winking. Still he won't down you or tear out your hide. On your side while the baby make a slide. But mama got wise to the game. The youngest of 5 kids, hun, here it is. After 10 years without no spouse, mama's getting married in the house. Listen, positive over negative for the woman a master. Mother Queen's rise in the chapter. Deja vu, tell you what I'm gonna do when they reminisce over you, my God. When I date back, I recall a man off the family tree. My right hand, Papa Doc, I see. Took me from a boy to a man, so I always had a father when my biological didn't bother. Taking care of this, so who am I to bicker? Not a bad ticker, but I'm clocking Pop's liver. But you can never say that his life is through. 5 kids at 21, believe he got a right to. Here we go while I check the scene with the Portuguese lover at the age of 14. The same age, front page, no fuss, but I bet you all you know they live longer than us. Never been seen now, that's where you're wrong. But give the man a taste and he's gone. Nodding off sleep to a jazz tune. I can hear his head banging on the wall in the next room. I get the pillow and hope I don't wake him. For this man to cuss, hear it all in verbatim. Telling me how to raise my boy unless he's taking over. I said, Pop, maybe when you're older. We laughed all night about the hookers at the party. My old man standing yelling, good God Almighty. Use your condom, take sips of the brew. When they reminisce over you, for real. For real, baby. Like that. We for real. Coming at ya. In 92. Rock and CL Smooth. Yeah. Come on. I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way back, so many bear witness the fitness. Take the first letter out of each word in this joint. Listen close as I prove my point. T to the R-O-Y, how did you and I meet in front of Big Lou's fighting in the street? But only you saw what took many time to see. I dedicate this to you for believing in me. Rain or shine, yes in any weather. My grandma Pam holds the family together. My Uncle Doc's the greatest, better get the latest. If we're talking about a car, Uncle Sterling got the latest. I strive to be live cause I got no choice. And run my own business like my Aunt Joyce. So Pete Rock hit me, enough respect due. When they reminisce over you, listen. Listen. Just listen to the funky song. Cause I rock on, and that's word is born. I'm not playing. Everybody.
Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Hey, how's everybody out there in internet world, digital world, virtual world? Welcome to Introverses, our Monday night brought to you by Introverse Live and All Deaf Poetry. Tonight, whoa, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. We have 2 legends in the building this evening about to do their thing. But first off, let me shout out our Introverse Live team. Shouts out to Sean Williams. Shouts out to Masterpiece. Shouts out to Black Chakra. Shouts out to Prentice Powell. And my name is Blues, but you can also call me Sean William, aka Black Chakra. So y'all know how this thing goes down. Tonight we have the one and only from Oakland, California, the mighty Mike McGee. And also from Salt Lake City, the one, the only Mr. Jesse Perrin. All right, so I don't even know if my air horn's coming in, but these 2 gentlemen are very, very good at what they do. They're national award winners. You name a thing that you could win, they probably won it like 4 times in a row. So they're here tonight scrub all of those accolades, scrub all of that. These two gentlemen are just legends, and they're coming together for an epic head-to-head to give you all some poetry, all right? Some poems this evening. So if you are ready, like I am ready, we're going to bust open to this thing. We're going to start off first with the one and only, the mighty Mike McGee. Mike, you are up first in the head-to-head. Brother, do your thing.
Hello. Now, I have one little correction to make. As much as I love Oakland, California, and it's my favorite place to be outside of San Jose, I got to represent San Jose, California, which is just south of Oakland. I love the whole Bay Area, and especially Oakland, but I have never once lived in Oakland, California. So I can't take too much credit for how awesome and badass Oakland is. Thanks for having me, and here's my first piece for you all. This is just a thing. It's just a thing. I mailed myself a love letter yesterday, and I can't wait to get it back to see what's going on in my life and to see how my relationship with myself is developing. Yesterday, I learned of all my faults and casualties. Tomorrow, I will come to grips with how great I am, and next week, I'll begin teaching courses in coolness where water can enroll itself to learn how to become ice cubes. I'm 44 years old, which means that I can run for president of the United States of America. And maybe I should, because then I could bring back facial hair as the symbol of a good leader and everything else. I would have the White House serve ramen noodles 24 hours a day on tab because I'll be busy. I feel like Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving back to the poets. I could finally wear tights and people will finally start to understand me, because deep down I'm just a chubby ballerina with a penchant for late night television, fuzzy slippers, and cereal at night. Yesterday, I felt like a singer with a song I couldn't sing. Today, I'm a father who can never have children. And tomorrow, I'll rest inside a full night of sleep for a planet of billions of lovers and fighters who love to fight about everyone else on the planet. I promised myself many years ago that I would always put things down on paper, whether it was in letters to women who never knew I loved them, or in memos written on Post-it notes stuck to the lockers of bullies demanding their immediate surrender. It's not easy to convince a table of nerds to fight without a 20-sided die, but I'm going to keep trying. I promised myself a very long time ago that I would never settle for average or mediocre, and that I would always try to find the best and the worst within myself so that maybe I'd be able to work the two out so they could learn from each other. It's one thing to say that I'm worthy of love, but it's another thing to say that I'm worthy of my own. Because here I am with all this love to give, and it seems as though I'm still trying to find myself so I know who to give it to. Y'all, like a lot of you, maybe even most of you watching right now, I too have lived a life with such varied confidence. So I mailed myself a love letter yesterday. It was just a dress rehearsal so that I would know how to respond to the people who told me that I'm ugly, or I'm a great friend, or I'm just like one of the girls. I've learned to deal with it, but now it's time to play with the hands that I've been dealt. I know I'm not tall, dark, and handsome, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And now you're probably wondering which 2 I'm talking about, but I only need one woman to figure it out on her own. I guess, when you stack badass at 5 feet, 6 inches, I'm all you need. And if I'm going to find someone who digs me with life's biggest shovel, then I'm just going to have to learn to dig myself first. Thank you. Take it, Jesse.
All right. That was Mike starting off heavy. Loving yourself. I love it already. Jesse Parent, what you got, man?
Hey everybody, it's me, White Jesus, and I've come to break baguettes and share cab salad with some of my favorite sinners. You guys, I know what you're thinking. Hey, White Jesus, what's with that outrageous accent? Well, just like the rest of White Jesus, it's vaguely European and depends on your frame of reference. After all, God created us all in his image, but White Jesus was created in the image of those who are trying to make a sale. Who doesn't have a nice portrait of White Jesus in their living room? Or a little statue of yours truly with a lamb? Or maybe me as a baby in a manger with White Mary and White Joseph and white angels and white shepherds to some vaguely non-white wise men. They had to travel a long way to get to the land of Caucasia to bring me these smelly gifts. Why Jesus just makes a better present when it looks like the rest of the family. Didn't your grandparents trace your genealogy all the way back to the house of David? Well, just like why Jesus, lineage is important. Watch as they nail me to their family tree and wash me white, root and stem, slake my thirst with a sponge soaked in vinegar wine to sour my history, trade in my sandals for Birkenstocks, my coiled hair for auburn locks, my rough linen for white sheets. After all, who doesn't like wearing white sheets? And just like your family tree, I am a self-portrait of poor white Renaissance artists who could only afford the mirror for a model. How wonderful to get the whole religion to worship your image. Cast all of my sculptures from marble and alabaster. Make me as white as sushi burrito or Great Harvest flatbread. Tell everyone that doesn't look like white Jesus that no matter how Christ-like they live their lives, they will never look like salvation. Play up the blackness of their souls. How much can that weigh a person down? Gesture to the stained glass windows and comment how beautiful the light looks coming through my creamy complexion. I am the Exodus of Egypt. This is what Palestine probably looks like, right? No refugee will ever look like me. Keep citing the facts of scripture and the evidence of illustrations now. Look at me, white Jesus. Doesn't my accent seem so much less outrageous in comparison to the rest of me?
That was a hot ass round one. All right, y'all. So this is why they're the legends. This is why we have them here for y'all tonight. So you could get this work, get this love, get this performance. I ain't gonna say no more. Round two, Mike McGee, let's go.
Now hear me out. I licked the acidic pages of poets who showed it through rhyme and verse. Psychedelic thoughts immersed so I could rehearse these words in my head. Fuck MTV. I want my Mike McGee. Hip hop is a language of the street. Anyone who speaks it well is an artist of the world because the world is covered in streets. We all live on streets. The streets where you go to find out what the world is up to. So I want to be hip hop. I want to be so in tune with the world that I am a language, that every line I write is almost an unimaginable concept, like becoming static. Because when you turn on the TV to a channel that isn't there, you hit static. Most of us change the channel to find silly situations to escape with, but static is art. Static is discovery, pure and simple. It started as energy that someone wanted to hear it, so it became sound. Then someone wanted to see it, so television was born to bring static to the masses. Nobody understands it. Some of us call it dead air, but it's alive, like you and me, maybe even more. Every day I discover just how alive I am. Every room I enter, there's a living woman who doesn't realize how much she loves me yet. And I will bet it is only because we haven't been introduced. I want to be hers because she doesn't. I've wanted to be hip hop ever since I wasn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be the scores of yours. I want to be rock and roll, a rolling rock. I'm running out of time, so fuck the clock. Time paints us whatever color it sees fit. I don't want to be black or white or brown or yellow. I want to be consumed by shades of static. I want to be on TV in between channels 2 and 3. I want to be chromatic static, comfortable white noise for all the B-girls and B-boys, lulling them to dream, reaching to scream, and no, I'm not what I seem. I look like shit, but I taste like cream. I want to be that of which only a few people watch when they should be asleep. I want to be the place where seeds are sown so others can reap. I am static, romantic electric camouflage. I am the dead silence before applause, the healing qualities of wound-wrapping gauze, a big bag of presents from Santa Claus. What's your cause? I'm not a first poet or a last poet, but in between. I want to be nomadic in static submissions, the rock and roll start the end of all transmissions. People will watch me without knowing it, rocking you and rolling you without showing it. From time to time at 3 a.m, when you solve the world's problems, I'll be there at the beginning and the end of your radio dial. If you want to see me on TV, unplug your fucking antenna. I will be static. You will all be hip hop and breath. I will write to the beat of your feet and read it in your death. I want my hip hop rhymes to be so good that they just don't rhyme anymore. But what's in store for the whore that is me, the one you might call Mighty Mike McGee? Fuck that. Call me Johnny Appledog, because the seeds I sow will grow to be trees of thought that walk to you when you call them. You see, beyond hip-hop and the rigmarole of rock and roll is just me who used to be a little boy that couldn't, but wanted to give the world a little more of what it never really had, offering happy when it felt a little sad, a little bit of static in world gone mad. I am creating a destiny for the rest of me and a life I test to be the best of me. Laugh because shit's funny. Cry because it fucking sucks. Say hello to the world before goodbye and gone. Turn on the TV when you know nothing's on. And think of me before you panic. Because when I leave this world, I'm coming back as
Yo! Yo! All right, so I'm trying not to get too hyped, but how do you said you come back as all right, Jesse, are you ready?
Yeah,
Because Mike is laying it down.
Yeah,
Let's go, man.
What? All right. So I have this poem I do about my daughter dating. I'm not going to do that poem, but my daughter told me the other day that she wants to start dating, and I shrugged. And she tells me the name of her girlfriend. I shrug again. She tells me I need to be careful because her girlfriend's parents don't know that she's gay, and I pause. And she tells me that, well, her girlfriend's parents are religious, and I want to say, well, so am I, or that shouldn't matter. But I have to admit that while religion doesn't always build the closet door, it does tend to supply the lumber to plane it straight. After all, Jesus was a carpenter's son, knows the many uses of wood, how to hang plumb. And I've reached the point of parental dilemma where I need to be honest with this girlfriend's parents, but she just needs to survive my daughter praying to cross timbers on an atheist rosary that when she opens the door, her girlfriend will be where she left her, alive and well hidden under a heap of clothes that her parents bought for her. And I live 1,000 lifetimes in this decade of Hail Marys where my daughter does not go to the prom because her girlfriend has to go with a boy, where my daughter is referred to as an aunt or a special friend, where she is dragged behind someone else's closet door, applying another layer of lacquer and varnish until she blurs a little more every day. So when I meet this girlfriend's parents, I smile like a stack of toothpicks, shake their hands to feel for calluses and splinters. I choose their daughter's survival over the truth. But I say a prayer, a silent vow that I will take every door in my own home and feed it through a wood chipper until my daughter falls in love with the smell of sawdust.
What? That was just round two. So if y'all are watching, if y'all are paying attention, the styles are just coming different ways in storytelling and wordplay. Oh my God, that's why they're legends. It is round three. Mike McGee, what you got?
Every day, I rewrite her name across my chest so that those who wish to break my heart will know who to answer to later. She had no idea that I taught my tongue how to make pennies. And every time our mouths were to meet, I would have slipped a coin to the back of her throat and made a wish. Because I wished that someday my head on her belly might look like home, like doubt to doubt resuscitation, because time is supposed to mean more than skin. She doesn't know that I taught my arms to close around her clocks so that we could both withstand the fallout from her autumn. She is so explosive. Volcanoes watch her and learn. Terrorists want to strap her to their chest because she's a cause worth dying for. And maybe someday time will teach me to pick up her pieces, put her back together, and remind her to click her heels, but she doesn't need some Wizard of Oz to tell her that I was here all along. Lady, let's catch the next tornado home. Let's plant cantaloupe trees in our backyard, and then one of these days I will remind you that I do not like cantaloupe, and they sure as hell don't grow on trees, but we can laugh about it. And then maybe we can plant things we've never heard of, because I've never heard of a woman who can make flawed look so beautiful the way you do. And the word smitten is to how I feel about you, what a kiss is to romance. So maybe my lips to yours could be the penance to this confession, because I'm the only one preaching your defunct religion, sitting alone at your altar, praising you out of faith. We cannot do these hard knock lives alone. You are all the softness a rock dreams of being. The mistakes the rain makes at picnics when Mother Nature bears witness in much, much better places. So yes, I will gladly take on your ocean just to swim beneath you so that I can kiss the bends of your knees in appreciation for the work they do, keeping your head above water.
So I'm not crying, you crying. Writing these love poems. Anyway, Jesse Parrott. Mike spilt his heart, man. What you got for us, bro?
Speaking of love poems, I suppose you're wondering what we're doing here under this comforter. Well, the truth is, darling, I am about to fart. Now, before you get angry or flail madly or hold your breath, just hear me out. I'm not going to pretend like this is going to be a walk in the rose garden, though. I'm no Ivanka Trump. This is going to stink. It might smell like stale popcorn salted with asparagus or a cabbage brownie or something so Velcro and foul it clings to your pant legs like trash juice. I'm not a good judge of where these things are going to go. They call this the love test. Dutch ovens. Hotboxing. This is how you know you have someone special. It's not about how when you kiss and fall into each other's lips, how electricity conducts from your fingertips into each other's bodies, what ancient languages you blurt out as you climax together simultaneously. A relationship's best moments are fleeting flashes of perfectly untenable hold of joy, and this is about those less than ideal moments, the times when we are simply human. A loosened booger, a trapdoor opening and closing with every breath, finding underwear in a trash can and we don't say a word, the conversations you have with each other on the toilet. If you can't love me in this awkward space, just live in this filthy, stinking moment, what are you going to do when it really gets bad? Can you still love me? Throwing up every hour, my bedside table, a heap of prescription bottles, my pillow thatched with what little hair I have left to give. Can you still love me? Showering me in a chair, wiping my ass as I sob, I'm sorry to you. Throwing my underwear into a trash can without saying a word. Can you still love me? When I struggle to recognize you, call our son by my brother's name, scream. When I look into a mirror, my stroke-addled face may hang like a sheet on a branch, wrinkled and absent of cohesion. Just know that there are rings inside of me that are black and burned with the memory of you that I would carve away the bark of me to get at. We may not always be able to slow dance when our wedding song sneaks onto the radio. And the doctor might tell me I won't live to see winter, and that's okay. I hate shoveling anyway. And there may come a day when we are planning my funeral and I insist on being buried in the shirt that says insert wooden stake here over the heart. I hope you will shake your head and do it anyway. Like I said, I'm not a good judge of where these things are going to go. Not everyone looks forward to being their lover's caretaker, and that's okay. I'm not either. I just hope and pray that you will always love me as I do you in those difficult times. Like this one, where we are both under a comforter, and I'm about to... Is that you? Wow. Is it weird for me to say how much I love you in this moment for that?
Listen, do you know what kind of talent it takes to take farting and make it beautiful? So shouts out to both of those like love poems in that round. Shouts out to Jessica who's tuned in. Shouts out to all the poets who are all tuned in to see these two legends get it in. Do remember that we're going to put a poll up after this, so check into our IG Introverse Live to see who you want to vote for. It should be on our Facebook as well. There is something on the line. These poets will win a real live dinosaur at the end of it. So whoever votes for the best will get a Tyrannosaurus Rex. How you take care of it is beyond me. Alrighty, McGee, you are up for round 4. What you got for us, brother?
I mean, I gotta say though, real quick, it's pretty strange that you would give two dinosaurs another dinosaur. Okay. Anyhow, let's see here. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do something. It was gonna be awesome. Oh, here we go. We're gonna go back in time a little bit, back to when I had a job. a long, long time ago. I have been told that it can be dangerous to wake up someone while they're sleepwalking. I have also been told that in 1500s England, they buried people prematurely due to a comatose state caused by drinking alcohol from lead and pewter cups. To eradicate these awful mistakes and to prevent many wrongful deaths, they hired men to sit in the cemeteries with lanterns and shovels to listen for ringing bells. These bells were tied to twine, and the twine was run underground to the wrists of the deceased. If the person awoke inside their coffin and scrambled for escape, their bell would sound 6 feet above, and the diggers would start digging. Hence, those buried alive were saved by the bell, and the diggers' work became known as the first graveyard shift. The only people at that time willing to work in the dark and sleep during the day. So I'm at my new graveyard job at the mall. I stock toys for the kiddies at Christmas time. I work in the dark like Quasimodo because they would never hire me for a daylight position. I guess I just don't appeal to the regular shoppers. And I definitely don't appeal to the kind of people that stop by our store after spending a few grand at Nordstrom. Come see the big hairy guy. Come one, come all, come down to the mall, see for yourself this big giant elf. I cannot dance for $1, and I will not give up my dreams for a job. I work in the dark to enjoy the sun. I plan my life during my 10-minute breaks while the nocturnal animals play in the parking garage amongst littered shopping bags, receipts, and price tags. As the world sleeps, dreaming of designer clothes, bottled water, and a Beverly Hills lifestyle, I debate with myself whether or not I have time to suck down one more cigarette. And if you can see the blue in this collar, then you know that I have learned quite well just how to differentiate between the daywalkers and those that roam the night. I prefer the light of the moon over your basic fluorescent office fixture, the kind of light that assumes the distrust between you and your boss, the kind of light that peeks into and around every corner. Those are the lights the stores and malls use to scare away the shoplifters. And those are the lights they shut off when their graveyard shift punches in. They know that something's going to be missing in the morning, so what's the fucking point? The graveyard shift is creative, taking what is never rightfully theirs, but obviously no one else's either. There's something so missing in the morning when the day crew takes over that the customers can smell it under the hot lights of omniscience. It is the creativity born with nightwalkers. It is how much the day hates the night. You'll never see a pigeon hanging out with an owl. And you'll never see Beverly Hills hand me her phone number as she leaves the mall with her bags of, hey, look at me, while I enter the mall in an air of, hey, look at me. We're all the same, Beverly. Only you look pretty hot in your outfit. The way it exposes your midriff, your flat stomach. I just wish you could say to me, hey, McGee, you look good in that dictionary. The way it exposes your ideals and manipulations, your faults and your ambitions. But we seem to take two different escalators to get to the same place in life. I'm kind of like banished royalty, and you're upper class white trash. Day and night can never make love. They can only tease each other in a foreplay they call twilight. And the only things I regret at 3 a.m. as I solve the world's problems and chain smoke outside the mall is that I have no bell to ring. And rainbows never come out at night. Thank you.
Listen, I'm just having a great time. I'm fanning out. We talked earlier in the Zoom when everybody wasn't there. Fans fanning out over fans. So Jesse, it's on you, man. Let's go.
Little brother, look what they've done to me. For millennia, I've woven myself into humanity's dreams, raced comet-like across their collective consciousnesses, basic as a circle, a hooked cross, a child of lines and busy hands, simple, recognizable. They call me swastika. And I was everywhere, even in the one place I wished I wasn't. And I admit, I was jealous of you, little brother, and the star you rose up on, for I was just a hooked cross glossed over on cracked clay pots and deerskin teepees, hidden along with kisses on the collars of Chinese children to protect them from evil spirits. All of Asia blended me into their backgrounds, Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism. I could tell you where any temple was. A sun symbol, a heart seal, eternity. A minor celebrity on one continent, a child's absent doodle on the rest. He took me west, little brother, told me to point right and lean, hold the pose, shone a bright white spotlight on me while I danced on a red carpet. They all waved at me, little brother. I got caught up in the rush to become a major celebrity. It was too late to turn back. They slaughtered each other under my hooked shadow, the smoke of their flesh darkening my form. I let them turn me into something horrible, simple, recognizable, detestable. Humanity's dreams no longer idly trace my form in innocent doodles. Countless millennia may never wash away the stench on my lines, no matter which way I turn. A minor celebrity on one continent, a symbol of hatred on the rest, so many killed while I waved over them. Their murderers justifying themselves by the meaning they put into my shape. They killed for me. Now, you don't have my hooks, little brother. But we have the same parents, the same simplicity of lines. We have had different men who have defined us, even if we have both been worn by popes. My body count is well over 6 million, little brother. Pray they do not start counting up the ones that were killed for you.
Amazing work, y'all. If you just tuned in, shouts out to Javon Johnson, shouts out to Rose Brown, shouts out to my man Poet Superman. Shout out to our sponsors for sure, Universal Purpose, The Poet Life, and Lex Pierce Clothing. Thank y'all so much for being a part of what we do. Y'all, I don't know if y'all out there on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube are handling this right, but I am in my seat and I just can't sit still. My heart's racing, my palms are sweaty.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm so old that poem hurts my joints to do.
Yeah. I noticed that. Like I was like, I wonder if Jesse's gonna get way bent out of shape. But I like Mike's style. Mike's like, yo, you're gonna get all these poems with this fancy mic right in front of me. This is the best you're gonna do. Cat in the back. Let's get it. So listen, gentlemen, this is the final round, the last round. Thank you all so much for being here. I want you to go off. If you're on all the platforms, heart up if you're on Instagram. Put all the whatever kind of fire emojis into the YouTubes and on the Facebooks, whatever. Tell your friends what you saw here today. Mighty Mike McGee, final round.
That's me, my friend. That's me. I have to say, Blues, it is such an honor to be hosted by you, and it is a real honor to be on All Def Poetry. This has been really fun. It's great to see Jesse perform live as we can be right now. I love him. I love you, and I love everyone watching. I also wanted to point out too that I am so old that there are times where I'll raise my voice in a poem, and immediately the old man in me will go, "That is too loud. You are being too loud. You know, that is unnecessary volume. You know." So, yeah, I don't know. The old the old performance poet in me is really mad at the new performance poet in me. So, here we go. This is a love poem that I wrote to someone I cared about very deeply, but I didn't know how to reconcile the distance between us because I was always on the road. I was always gone. So I thought, well, here's what I'll do. I'll write a letter to an expert on distance and get their advice. And then I ended up with my own by even writing the letter. So here it goes. Dear Neil Armstrong, I write this to you as she sleeps down the hall. I need answers that I think only you might have. When you were a boy and space was simple science fiction, when flying was merely a daydream between periods of history and physics, when gifts of moon dust to the one you loved could only be wrapped in your imagination, before the world knew your name and before it was a destination, what was the moon like from your backyard? Your arm, strong, warm, wrapped across her shoulders, both of you gazing up from your back porch, summers before your distant journey. But upon landing on the moon, as the earth rose over the sea of tranquility, did you look for her? I mean, what was it like to see our planet, know that everything you could be, all you could ever love and long for was just floating before you? Did you, by any chance, happen to write her name in the dirt when the cameras weren't looking? Or surround both of your initials with a heart for alien life to study a million years from now? What is it like to love someone so distant? What words did you use to bring the moon back to her? And what did you promise in the moon's ear about the girl back home? Can you Teach me how to fall from the sky? I ask you this not because I doubt your feet. I just want to know what it's like to go somewhere no man had ever been, just to find out she wasn't there. To realize your moonwalk could never compare to the steps that led to her. I now know that the flight home means more. And every July, I think of you. Imagine the summer of 1969, how lonely she must have felt while you were gone. You never went back to the moon, and I believe that's because it doesn't take rockets to get you where you belong. I see that in this woman down the hall, and sometimes she seems so much further, but I'm ready for whatever steps I must take to get to her. I've seen so many skies, and the moon always looks the same. So I gotta say, Neil, that rock you landed on ain't got shit on the rock she's landed on. See, you walked around, took samples, and left, but she's built a fire, cleaned up the place. And I hope she decides to stay, because on this rock, we can both breathe. Mr. Armstrong, I don't have much. Many times have I been upside downtrodden, but with these empty hands comes a heart that is full more often than the moon. She's becoming my world, pulling me into orbit, and I now know I may never find life outside of hers. So I want to give her everything that I don't have yet. So yes, for her, I would go to the moon and back, but not without her. I mean, why? When we could claim the moon for each other with flags made from sheets down the hall, and I'd risk it all to kiss her under the light of earth, the brightness of home, but I can do all of that and more right here, wherever she is. And when we gaze up with her arms around me, I will not promise her gifts of moon dust or flights of fancy. Instead, I will gladly give her all the earth she wants in return for all the earth she is, the sound of her heartbeat and laughter, and all the time it takes to learn to fall from the sky, down the hall, and right into love. Man, I would do it every day if I could just land next to her. 5, 4, 3, 2, one small step for a man, but she's one giant leap for my kind. I just want to point out it's the 51st anniversary of the moon landing today. 5/1, 51st anniversary today. I just realized that as I was doing the poem.
Well, that's your nerd brain kicking in at all the same time. Amazing work. Shout out to everybody who's watching. I encourage you to go home to your partner right now and be like, I want to fall out of the sky for you. And then try to figure it out from there. That was amazing work. Jesse, my heart is full, man. Now make my head explode, brother. It is on you. Let's go.
All right. And evidently we don't have time penalties due to the soliloquy before that Mike put out there. But, you know, honestly, this is a real honor. I love Mike. I haven't seen him since we had a show in Vegas. It's beautiful. And I just want to point out to the poetry community, Blues is doing all the work. Blues flew out basically everybody who touched Final Stage in 2018 to do a show in North Carolina, just to show North Carolina what that looks like. So that's what's up. You know, people take care of this poetry scene, and I'm real grateful for it. And I'm real grateful to be on this show. This is a poem for my wife. After my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, I put on a shirt that had been folded for months, fallow and dusty, in my closet, and I pulled out a long chestnut brown hair from a jagged seam. See, my wife has always had long hair. That waist-length librarian straight loom down her back. She was feast, I famine. Our friends would often say that her long hair was what defined her, along with her smile. When my wife found out the tumor was malignant, she called it her asshole, which shocked our church friends. She said she wanted her asshole removed, which confused the proctologist, but she embraced pruning as a means of growth, survival. When we had to tell our children that my wife had breast cancer, my eldest son held it together, made it into math. My daughter shattered like a slipped and soapy plate, but my youngest, the 8-year-old, went silent as sleep, eyes wide and wet, and in a voice like Jesus, young and in the temple wise, he asked his mother, "Will you survive?" And I broke, an oak giving up to the storm, but my wife, she weathered and replied, "I'll try." No promise, just an exercise of her will behind a wet smile, and she fights like only she can, takes on chemotherapy in a pink feather boa with a fuck cancer shirt on, tells the oncologist to hollow her out, to ball her like a melon, and she will fight to stay the greenest rind, to plane her straight, take every lump and soft part of her, and she will be so much woman without it. She vows to be bald and breastless, but still alive. Hallelujah, still alive, evicting this asshole from her body. And I remember all of this as I look at that long brown strand I have excavated from my shirt, from a time when cancer was something other people got, when assholes were things that simply shit in governed Indiana. And I hold that thin strand over the trash can, and I let go. And I go downstairs to cuddle with my wife on the couch and kiss her on her bald head, and she manages a smile that is weak, but still her, still there, still the part that always mattered. And when we put our bald heads together, it looks kind of like a butt, except there is no asshole.
It's not, it's not that often you guys get to see me on Introverse Live, and you're not going to see me crying. So that's what you get. Y'all, Jesse wins. Oh, brothers, amazing, amazing work. Head to head, 5 poems from 2 legends, a night that I hope all of you all remember. You can go to the polls and choose who you want, but like my man Sean William always said, tonight the people won, poetry won, this crowd won. So make sure that you tap into these two young men and donate to them directly, or you can donate to us to help us continue the show and pay our poets as we will, and take care of some bills. Introverse Live, all that stuff should be up there. Shouts out to Universal Purpose, The Poet Life, and Lex Pierce Clothing so much. Shouts out to the All Deaf Poetry platforms. Shout out to my man Shihan, and of course, the Introverse Live team, my man Sean William, Masterpiece, Black Chakra, Prentice Powell, and of course, myself. But y'all, Mike McGee, Jesse Perrin, yo. 2 words. The fuck, man. Oh my God. Yo, thank you guys so much for stepping in and being a part of this movement, being a part of what we do. We are so glad to have legends here. We're so glad to be able to give you flowers while you're still here and celebrate the time and craft that you put in to this community. So many thank yous. So many thank yous. I hope you all had a good time.
Yeah,
I had a blast.
I got to just stare at Mike the whole time.
Yeah. Jesse, that last piece of yours, like I never ever want to go up against it. I just want to sit back and listen to it. Like never again. I'm done. I think I'm done competing for the rest of my life.
I never wanted to write it. So, yeah.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But you know,
gorgeous.
A lot of people always ask me, like,
gorgeous.
how's my wife doing? She's great. She did break her arm last week, so we got surgery tomorrow. But she's doing great. Chemotherapy, double mastectomy, radiation, all gone as far as we know. And yeah, she's doing great.
Give my love to your family, please.
I will.
All right, fellas, thank you so much. Kadeem, our man behind the scenes right here at All Deaf, making this whole Zoom thing happen. Thank y'all so much. Listen, if y'all have someone out there like, hey, man, there's a poet I would love to see go up. If you got a matchup you want us to see, make sure you shoot us an email or hit us in our DM at Introverse Live on the IG, and we'll make that happen. We make things happen over here. You see, we got 2 legends out. I don't know who's going to win this Tyrannosaurus Rex, but hey, whoever does, their neighborhood is in fucking trouble.
Yo,
so
move, I can
shout out
see
to these 2 fellas. And we're going to be out, y'all. We'll see you next Monday. Hit us up. Make sure you hit those polls to vote. And actually in November, just to make sure you guys remember, vote for reals, because it's serious. But let us know who you want to see, and we'll get that popping. My name is Blues. This has been Introverses right here on the All Deaf Poetry channel. We'll see y'all. Peace out.